What makes you human? Your emotions, your need to be part of a complex social structure, your skill to innovate, or your ability to communicate your thoughts. Well, dolphins can do all of these things and more. Things that even humans cannot do.
Curious case.
In this video, we will try and understand some interesting things about dolphins and their intelligence, like how they can see with sound, why they never go to sleep, their ability to speak, and how they have innovated strategies to ensure survival. Let's start with their superpower of using echolocation, or their ability to see with sound. Within milliseconds, dolphins can virtually map their surroundings in 3 dimensions, and they are so good at it that they can identify the size, shape, and speed of objects from hundreds of yards away. They can even differentiate between similar objects like a golf ball and a table tennis ball based on just their internal density. An organ called the melon, located on a dolphin's head, sends forward concentrated sound pulses or clicks into the water. These sound waves bounce off of nearby objects and then return to the dolphin as echoes. These echoes are picked up by the lower jaw and transferred to the brain for interpretation. Each click thereby creates a snapshot of their surroundings, and a series can map a moving landscape. Another interesting fact is that unlike humans, dolphins breathe voluntarily. Respiration isn't an unconscious mechanism, it is something they have to consciously do. So, how do they avoid drowning while they sleep? Well, by remaining conscious. Dolphins sleep with only half of their brain at once, while the other half remains fully awake, a type of rest known as unihemispheric slow wave sleep. They alternate between the hemispheres to fully rest the brain. This process takes about 4 hours in total, 2 hours for each hemisphere of the brain. Well, these two facts about dolphins using echolocation and taking unihemispheric rests can be explained by natural evolution rather than their intelligence. Then what even makes them intelligent? I know what makes you intelligent. That's liking this video right now and subscribing to Curious Case so you can feed your curiosity and learn new things. Okay, getting back to dolphin intelligence. You see, the most basic measure of intelligence is brain to body ratio. Dolphins have a brain to body ratio second only to humans. They have specialized brain cells called spindle neurons, which are associated with advanced abilities such as reasoning, communicating, adapting to change, and problem solving. Dolphins are one of the few species that pass the mirror test. The ability to recognize yourself in a mirror is a measure of intelligence and self awareness. Human children start showing signs of self recognition at about 12 months, while dolphins recognize themselves in a mirror even earlier, at only 7 months old. They will inspect themselves and look at parts of their bodies in the mirror that they can't usually see, such as inside their own mouths. They also twirl and pose in unusual ways, examining their own movements in the mirror. And research shows they can not only recognize their own bodies, but their own thoughts as well, a property called metacognition. These behaviors indicate the self awareness of a highly intelligent species. Well, intelligence and emotions go hand in hand. The part of the brain that processes emotions is called the limbic system, and it appears to be more complex in dolphins than our own. A dolphin alone is not really a dolphin. Being a dolphin means being embedded in a complex social network, even more so than with humans, says Lori Marino, an expert on dolphin intelligence. In a study, scientist Denise Herzig and her team observed a mother dolphin called Muggsy swimming slowly and showing no interest in friends or social activities for some months following the death of a young calf. In other observations, dolphins maintained constant physical contact with dead individuals. They swam around the dead body for hours as though they were attending a funeral. The pain of a mother who lost her calf is easy to relate to. However, a large group swimming around a drowned dolphin suggests a more sophisticated response to the loss of a member of the community. This helps us peek into the complex social structures that dolphins are a part of. Well, being part of a social structure demands its participants to coordinate and communicate well with each other. While non-verbal or physical communication is very common among animals, verbal communication isn't. Dolphins are the only animals to have distinctive names for each other like humans. They develop a unique high-pitched whistle called a signature whistle. This whistle appears to serve as a means of individual identification, much like a name. Dolphins are capable of imitating certain sounds very accurately and often learn other dolphins' whistles. They have been observed imitating another dolphin's whistle to address and cooperate with them. The signature whistle is so distinct that scientists can identify individual dolphins by just looking at their whistle shapes on a sonogram. They use other sounds beside whistles to communicate. The most interesting part is that studies have found dolphins communicate verbally to complete coordinated tasks. And there's a direct correlation between the frequency of dolphins talking and the successful completion of a task. Which means when the dolphins talk or whistle more, there's a higher chance that they complete the task successfully. This communication and coordination can be witnessed in the wild. For example, one group of Florida dolphins practice a sophisticated form of cooperation to hunt fish called mud ring feeding. A dolphin designated as the net maker will make a perfect mud ring around a school of fish, and he does it by swimming around in shallow water and using his tail to disturb the mud, eventually encircling the fish. And the fish freak out, but they don't swim through the mud, they actually leap over. At the same time, a second dolphin outside the ring gives the signal for other dolphins to line up, while the escaping fish literally jump into their mouths. Achieving a goal like this requires deliberate planning and cooperation, which in turn requires intentional communication. In Australia, one group of bottlenose dolphins, known as the spongers, use echolocation to locate fish hiding in the seabed. Holding the sponges tightly in their mouths, they then poke them into the sandy seabed, disturbing the fish in hiding. The fish emerge, the sponge is dropped, and the meal is eaten. The tool is picked up again for further hunting. The sponges protect the dolphins' noses from scuffs and scrapes, in the same way as we protect our hands with gloves. Now we understand that not only dolphins are a really intelligent and emotional species, but they're intelligent enough to innovate feeding strategies depending on where they are located in the world, and they're also emotional enough to be part of a complex social structure. In one study that honestly blew my mind, the dolphins were comparing two sounds and they could indicate if they found the sounds to be similar, different, or they were uncertain about the answer. Just like humans, they picked uncertainty more often with difficult trials, suggesting they are aware of what they know and how confident they feel in that knowledge. This is a depth of intelligence that can be hardly seen in any animal. Dolphins are to the water what humans are to the land. We know more about the moon than we know about our oceans, let alone the smartest species in the oceans. Yet we are arrogant enough to conveniently state that dolphins are second to us in intelligence. Which is ironic because we look at dolphin intelligence from a lens which is made for human intelligence. What we know about dolphins is only a small percentage of what can be known. I can't help but wonder, what else do they know that we aren't aware of? If you also wonder about such things and want to know about scriptures that supposedly came before humans, click here right now.